So this is the other game in the France 1940. This is the Dynamo retreat to victory. This is the setup. The panzer divisions are under the halt hex counters there. Already removed two due to die roll. And then these two panzer divisions don't move at all. And we have Calais up here, Dunkirk. And so everybody is along here with the Germans, British, and then the Belgians right here. And the interesting in this game is kind of a bit of a race. This is longer than the other game on the standard. It's 12 turns. This game is interesting. So for the first 3 turns, they're under the halt order, but each panzer division under a halt counter placed by the Allied player gets replacements. And then not until turn 4 is the Allied player allowed to evacuate, and then basically the Belgians surrender the next turn, but also all the panzer divisions get withdrawn as it goes along. So it's a bit of a race for the Allied player to get out quickly before the Germans can take Dunkirk. But the interesting thing too in the victory conditions is if the Allied player gets any guys off the southern edge or western, which is kind of interesting since it's the coastline, they count as being evacuated off of Dunkirk. So there's this gap on ours that they could push through, but that's where all the panzer divisions are. But they're very close to the edge of the map here. So it's a bit of cat and mouse for this game. And then onward to so this is the end of the first turn. Just following the front line here because of the glare of the light. So the Germans moved up, but then the panzer unit got under a halt, so that's stopped it. For this next turn coming up, the French kind of filtered back to this river line, and but stayed out here to just cause more issues for the Germans, which may or may not be a good idea. The British are holding the line along here. The Germans made inroads on the Belgians here, punched out the hole over the river here, and just consolidated the position here. The Belgians forming a second line behind, and the British are moving these guys as quickly down to form a second line, but also get some of the unwanted units up here first to get them out of the way. Bringing the armor over here on the western side of the line to help with the panzer divisions that are coming in up here. So on to turn 2. So this is the end of turn 2. Not much has happened along the line here. The French have fallen back a little bit here, took some damage, but also the Germans also, and they pushed the hole bigger here against the Belgians, but luckily the Belgians killed at least one step in exchange over here, which they lost themselves one, but it's slowing them down. And everybody back. On to turn 3. So this is the end of turn 3 here. The Germans here are pushing the Belgians back, whether that's good for them, but it's creating this hole here to push through, and which is forcing them back. But for the Allied player, I don't know if it's should have stayed in the big cities there longer, but you need to use time to get pulled back, and with the French units being stuck in zones of control, moving out is automatically 3, so they can't move all that quick. So I started these 2 turns, start slowly pushing back, because next turn they can evacuate from Dunkirk and then from the beaches on turn 5. But so far the Panzer divisions haven't really pushed hard out here, because if they do and takes losses, it's victory points to the Allies until they get replacements. But we'll see how it goes for the next turn, because all the halt goes away, and it's and air power can be used with Panzer divisions, which for the halt turns it's not allowed. So on to turn. So this is the end of turn 4. The Germans failed in their attack on Calais. They did a determined defense and won. One unit made it out. But the Germans broke out right here on the line, and the 7th Armored Division got all the way up to this town, but the British did a counterattack and forced them back. They also broke over the canal here, but didn't penetrate very far. The French units are getting pretty strung out here. They might not make it out. The Belgians did a counterattack there, but they're going to disappear this next turn when they surrender. But when they broke out here, they left one lone British guy, and he ran all the way down to the southern edge, and he'll have 2 movement points when he's out of supply, so move off map and count as victory points. So for the Allied player worried about whether he can get any of those guys out, because if they don't, that's a lot of guys lost, and that might cost the game. On to turn 5. So this is the end of turn 5. Things are not looking good for the Allies, because the 6th Panzer Division is right on Dunkirk, followed by the 8th. The 4th and 10th Panzer Division, not 10th, this down here, 3rd, 5th, pocketed all these guys here. This guy's battle supply down there. And then, of course, all the Belgians surrendered. We only got a few guys covering here. Whole long line trying to keep everybody, but I don't think that's going to work. But right now, 4 armored divisions are going to leave, and the one that's leaving is the 1st Division. He didn't take Calais again, so And this guy wasn't made off because the reinforcements blocked him, so he just play a cat and mouse game on that one. And then we'll see what turn 6 has. Only 3 units made it out for the evacuation. Oh, it doesn't look good. Should have retreated quicker for the allied player immediately on turns 2 and 3. Trying to do it too slow and it kind of hurt. So this is the end of turn 6. The Germans have pierced the line. The British counterattack again, but surrounded a panzer unit here underneath this motorized division brigade. They knocked back armor division there, but this 8th Panzer Division did its determined defense and stayed there, so it's causing all sorts of problems. The 7th came rushing over to Calais and hit the unit, made him retreat, but he did a determined defense with air support and survived, but took a step loss. And infantry moving up, and the French are still staying in supply along here, but tenuously. The VPs is for the Allies is for every unit evacuated if the French stay in supply, so basically they don't have to, the Germans don't need to kill these guys, they just need to cut them off. But these turns are problematic for the German player because their panzer divisions are being withdrawn. So we'll see how it goes. On to turns. So this is the end of turn 7. The Germans broke the panzer division out, killed a tank unit with the infantry. Really didn't damage that guy. Full retreat back there. Should drop it down. But the guy in Calais made it to Dunkirk because the withdrawals. All the French guys now are surrounded. So just this small little train of guys are sneaking out. But all the panzer divisions are going to disappear pretty quick. So everything's going to open up for the Allied player. And the infantry divisions for the Germans are all on one side and down here. So that's kind of created a bit of a problem. So this is the end of turn 8. The French are in the pocket are whittled down, but they are close to the city, so it's going to take some time. The pocket got even smaller, but with the army units disappearing, the units are slowly sneaking out, and those are the ones that have gotten out so far. On to turn 9. So this is the end of turn 9. The French pocket is just holding, slowly knocking it down. But there's 14 guys already made it out, so that's 14 to the Allies. But they lost 3 British units, so they need to get those British units out. And probably in the next 3 turns. But even if they do that, that will counteract the 3 already lost, but it would put them at 14, and if the French stay supplied, that's all fine and well, but they might get wiped out. So the Germans might win by... So this is the end of turn 12. The French survived in that pocket, but they're out of supply, and the final unit in Dunkirk was killed. Couldn't do a determined defense and desperate defense, and it died because of poor rolls. And that put over the Germans by 1 point. They needed 15, I think it is, and the Allies got 14. Yep, 15 or more. And they didn't. So Germans win by 1 point.